Yeah, I keep getting asked a lot by salon owners who come for training and students as well, who are just starting out in their careers and wanting to employ staff. Why my girls are so good and how they sort of, develop such a lot of knowledge. But I think they didn't come in with the knowledge. The knowledge was something that I actually gave them. So I'll go back because now it seems really easy, but it really didn't start off. This journey didn't start off easy at all. When I started like almost 28, 30 years ago, I had no idea how to run a business. I had no idea how to employ staff and manage them. So I just sort of, along the way, just got better. I mean, I remember my earlier moments when I always thought, always employ um, therapists that are experienced so that, they come in and they start, doing clients, etc. But that was my biggest mistake, taking on girls that were experienced, because with that experience came all the hassle that went with it, the attitude, the terms and conditions that they would work to, and high income, because they always obviously wanted more money than they were actually worth. So in the initial years, I was the one doing all the work, and they were the ones taking the money home because they didn't want to do weekend. They didn't. I think a lot of them didn't want to do Sundays, evenings. They didn't want to do. So I was left doing evenings and Sundays while they did the sort of 9 to 5, and Saturdays they did. But after a few years, I mean, like when I was running 3 salons at that point, I just got almost like had like a moment where I thought this is not right. So what I did was I actually, before I opened my third salon in Finchley, I upgraded from beauty to spa. And in the spa, I needed almost like girls that were massage therapists, spiritual girls. So I actually got rid of all of my previous girls that were causing me a lot of hassle. And I went to the local college. And from that college, I employed girls that were nice girls that actually wanted to do the work, that didn't have almost like attitude. They down to earth, and most of them were living from home, which meant that their wage expectations were low as well. So this met with all my needs, and then when I brought them all together, I trained them all, and I trained them all. I stayed with them for 3 months before I actually opened my third salon. Day by day by day, I shared all the knowledge that I had with them. And as we were sort of, really getting into the training, we bonded, and the girls literally started to buy into the business concept. And that really helped me. So it really helped me. And from there on, I actually got a group of girls that stayed with me for almost 8 to 10 years. And only after I started to rebrand again into aesthetics, I had to let them go because they can't turn spiritual girls into aestheticians and give them needles all of a sudden when they've been healing. So I got another team in, and that team actually, again, I did exactly the same as before. Took the girls that I knew were passionate about injections and really wanted to take this journey. And I actually very, very quickly turned them into teachers. So I think the best way to keep the staff is actually really have a journey for them that where they're developing, because unless they're developing, they get bored, and utilize them in such a way that it actually meets the business needs. So that was fine. But now there is a different way to actually take the girls on. I think the industry is changing. I think there are many changes coming in with the legislation. So I don't think you have to go through the pain that I went through. I think you can. The best way is either upgrade your girls that are already working with you and experienced and put them into aesthetic treatments, because that's where the industry is right now. The beauty treatments are bread and butter, but they're not the ones making money, because the girls, aesthetic girls that are working on their own in their own places, are actually driving the industry at the moment. They're doing cheaper treatments, and the treatments are really good quality, so the clients are actually going to them. Legislation changes will mean that these girls will not have, I'd say about 80% will not have businesses to work from, because they're all working from homes. When I remember the days of the laser council license, and how it completely changed the industry. I was literally the only one that had been geared in the south of the country. And I was able to sort of carry on with my laser treatments, but a lot of them had to shut down because they were not meeting the legislation changes. So if the girls are actually going to sort of, retain what they're doing, they're going to have to create or be in places that are approved by the council. And these are legislation almost like changes, like the way the room is, health and safety, fire regs, and everything else, right? That all the salon already has. So majority of the requirements that they're going to need, the salon will have. You might as well just get those girls in, and they, they will not be employed. So it's either a consultancy basis or hiring a room. Makes much more sense, because if the girls are actually already got a client base, they're bringing that client base into your business who may have your beauty treatments as well. So it works on your bit as well as theirs. So I think there's a good marriage here. When it comes to your therapist, I think that if you've got a therapist that's been with you for a very long time, you trust her, the clients trust her, train her into aesthetics, because the clients that she's having for beauty will all upgrade to the aesthetic treatments. And I say that, the industry is booming. It's only the sectors that haven't moved on that are actually, I would say, not suffering, but slower in business. So if you want to gear up, that's the time.
Felt that was really good.